Alright, hello everyone and welcome to the third and final part of Ask the King episode 54 for July 2015. If you have not seen the first two parts, I ask that you do go check them out first because there were a lot of interesting questions answered this month. And now let's wrap it up in style. We've got a few more questions from the forums, then we'll move on to Twitter and Facebook, okay? Alright, so, first question from Daniel's Wee. He says, "Hey Phil, you've had over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube for a long time now, so I was wondering if you've gotten your silver play button plaque yet. Also, do you think that you'll ever reach 1,000,000 subscribers? I think that it might take some time, but it's definitely possible." That's a funny question, right? If you don't know what Daniel's Wee is talking about, when it was 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was around 2012 actually, YouTube announced this new program where they were going to help promote channels by sending out these, like, plaques with buttons, a play button, and one was made of silver and one was made of gold, even though I don't think they're real. I think they're just made of plastic, but you would commemorate how many subscribers you have on YouTube. Now, one was for 100,000 subscribers, that's a silver play button, and then for those who have 1,000,000 subscribers would get a golden play button. And some YouTubers think it's a big deal, so they made big videos when these showed up, and they hung them on their walls in their office and shit like that. You guys know me, listen. I've been here since 2008. I make videos to entertain you. I'm not here to brag. I'm not here to fucking talk about numbers of subscribers or views or whatever. And the bottom line is this. On YouTube right now, if you add up the views on DSP Gaming, my main gaming channel, the views on my vlogging channel, the King of Hate Vlogs, the views on my previous channels like Dark Side Phil, the King of Hate HD, the Final Fantasy channel, the Rockstar channel, all the channels that I've had on YouTube, and you add up the views, alright, I have more views than probably a lot of people who have millions of subs. In fact, I know for a fact there are people who have had YouTube channels longer than me on YouTube. This DSP Gaming channel where I put my gaming right now has only existed since 2010. There are people who have put videos up on YouTube since like 2006 who have like millions of subscribers and don't even have as many views as me. Alright? Subscriber count means diddly fucking dick when it actually comes to popularity, viewership, or anything. But YouTube likes to have a number so they could say, herp-a-derp, this guy has this many subscribers, so he's popular, herp-a-derp-a-derp, instead of actually looking at statistics, at business, at, you know what I mean? Like, I have analytics that I can look at and see how I'm doing performance-wise in my business. Subscribers has nothing to fucking do with that at all. You can have 5 billion subscribers and 4 people watch your videos. It doesn't matter. So how stupid it is, that's why when I got this stupid silver play button in like 2012 for having 100,000 subscribers. Yet I looked at my total views and they were so much huger than all the people who got millions of subscribers and therefore got the gold play button. I said, I don't even want to show this. Because all this shows is that, once again, Google doesn't understand their own business, doesn't understand how YouTube works, and promotes the wrong fucking things. And it's true. Over the years, Google changes the search engine so that longer videos show up higher in the playlist than shorter videos. What? Why? So if someone's doing a playthrough of Uncharted and made hour-long videos, and someone did a playthrough of Uncharted and did 10-minute videos, the 1-hour videos show up in search before the 10-minute ones. What? Why? There's no logic. They're just fucking idiots. And it's the same thing here. Oh, well, if you got 1,000,000 subscribers, you're good. Here's this good why? I don't care. Who cares what your fucking subscribers are? It's about who watches the videos. That's what it's about. So, I don't care about any of that. When I got this silver play button, I have it somewhere. It's somewhere in my shit here from when I moved. It's somewhere in my boxes in my closet, buried somewhere, the silver play button. I don't know if I'll ever even find it. Who cares? It's here, but I never hung it. I never did anything with it. Because for me, it's like, you know, it would be one thing if it was like, wow, you hit 100 million views milestone on your channel. Here's a play button. Great. That means something to me. Not subscribers. They're a bunch of fucking dolts over at Google. They really are. And they always have been. Alright. Next question is from... Hold on. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I screwed this one up when I copy and pasted it. HorrorPunks610, he says, Phil, there's been a lot of buzz around a supposed survival horror comeback for the past couple of years. If we're judging solely by the number of games released, this would be true, but there's been a lot of criticism from true survival horror fans regarding the nature and execution of these newer survival horror games, such as many of them just being cheap, jump-scared, riddled YouTube bait, or simply action games with a thin coating of horror, falsely marketed as survival horror. I'm pretty sure you've already expressed which side of the fence you stand on, so my question to you is this. What do you think developers need to do if they really want to bring the genre of survival horror back to its former glory? Listen, I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, there's so many great survival horror games. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4, one of the most poorly made games ever, a game that was a fucking piece of shit. I played it, I hated it. It only got popular because big YouTubers want to scream at their camera and act like clowns for views, and all of a sudden it became the meme on YouTube. Let's play Five Nights at Freddy's and scream. The guy ended up making 4 games, but admittedly, the game developer apparently is a good guy. He actually donated a ton of money that he made on these stupid games to charity, so good looking for him. Can't talk shit about him. But let's face it, the games are fucking stupid. And there's so many games now that are coming out like that. It's cheap, jump scare, no effort put into it. You know what I mean? And it's like, are you here for a game, or are you here to act like a little ninny and get your 5 seconds? Ugh, I got a little pringly feeling on my neck because something jump scared me. The truth about this is that you really need to put a lot of effort into a true survival horror game, because a true survival horror game isn't just about, something scary for half a second and you piss your pants. A true survival horror game psychologically rocks you. So you need to have a game, in my opinion, here are the elements. An element of survival, meaning it's not, you don't have unlimited ammo, you're not superhuman, it's not run and gun. There's a strong chance that you're gonna die, and there's gonna be some trial and error elements in the game because of the difficulty level of the game. There's not unlimited ammo and shit like that. It's resource management. There has to be a resource management mechanic in the game so that you know that everything that you do matters. Not that, oh, I know I'm going to find 700 more bullets, so it doesn't matter if I fire my gun now. Every time that you fire your gun means something in a true survival horror game versus these other run and gun games, right? There has to be an element of the unknown. There's something crazy and supernatural going on. What are these monsters you're fighting? What is this ghost that's chasing you? And at some point, there should be some actual explanation. Not that the entire thing has to be fully explained. There should be some suspension of disbelief for a survival horror game, but there should at least be some plot exposition. Resident Evil particularly did a good job with this through the logs and files and things that you would find throughout the game would explain the plot versus all the crazy shit you're fighting during the games, right? I hate games where nothing's ever explained. Same thing with a horror movie. Well, there was a ghost, but nothing's ever explained who the ghost is, what it is. It's just fucking monsters or something. It's like, I want an air of uncertainty, but I certainly don't want you never to explain anything to me, because then you feel like you've wasted my time. You know what I mean? So it's a unique combination of factors that need to make a survival horror game good. And yeah, you could have jump scares, and you can have gore. Those are things that can actually shock some people, but I wouldn't necessarily say it would scare them, and neither would I call that survival horror. You know what I mean? So there is a fine line there, and I think that unfortunately what you've seen is people jumping on the YouTube meme bandwagon is what it is. Well, if this guy made a shitty game with stupid jump scares, I can make another cheap piece of shit game with jump scares, and it'll get popular on YouTube. And unfortunately, YouTubers are being irresponsible dickheads, and they're playing the shit out of these games and making them popular because they want this, and not because they actually care about gaming or anything. They just want this. So here, I'll play Five Nights at Freddy's 7, and I'll scream like a girl at every cheap-ass jump scare, even though the game was boring since part 1, and then you know what? You'll make money. And that's sad, because there are games out there, people are putting in hard work, they're trying to make legitimate games. Those games get passed on so that people could go buy Five Nights at Freddy's 14. That's a shame. So, there are certain factors that go into a good survival horror game, and I've mentioned a few of them in this answer, okay? Let's see here. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. I'm going to skip a couple questions. This one is from Hazard. Now, Hazard used to be a frequent fan and viewer of my content. In recent years, he really has not been. And since we redid the whole website, earlier this year, he really doesn't have much to do with the website anymore, which is why if you haven't checked out Ask the King in a while and you're like, Hazard's asking about the website, what does this mean? So here's his question. He says, Phil, I just saw on Twitter that you migrated a host for the website, thekingofhate.com. Firstly, congrats to the mighty Onyx, who is our webmaster, for doing it with no downtime. It's no small feat to do that. You should feel extremely lucky to have such a talented individual looking after things. Just curious as to what made you decide to switch hosts and who did you move to? You may not realize this. Seriously. You may not realize this. But we did. We changed. Right now, if you go to thekingofhate.com, it's a completely different server. It's a completely different company that website is hosted on. We used to use GoDaddy. And I'll be honest, GoDaddy was stable, although every once in a while we would have issues with it. GoDaddy was stable, but they were too fucking expensive. They cost over $100. I think it was like $150 a month for the web hosting that we were doing for thekingofhate.com. And quite honestly, we're not using the website enough to need that kind of money investment in the website. So what we found, I should say we, but it really was Onyx, found an alternative company that does the same exact thing as GoDaddy, actually better for cheaper. It's the same, if not better quality servers for half the price of what GoDaddy used to charge us. And he migrated the servers over, and we're up and running. There was no downtime. And, you know, I have to say, big ups to Onyx because, you know, this is something that he's doing to support me, to support my business, to support the community. You know, the community of viewers. That's really primarily what the website is for people to have a format of discussion and a place where you can post up your questions for Ask the King, and patrons can put up their stuff. It's all community-based stuff, you know. And thanks to him, that website transition was like this. Instantaneous. So big ups to Onyx. Big shout out. I usually don't talk about the website much, but big ups to Onyx for that. Now, what made me switch hosts? Very simple, the cost. There was no reason for me to continue paying what I was paying on GoDaddy for the service I was getting. I wasn't utilizing most of it, and it was too fucking expensive. So I got rid of them. What business did we move to? I couldn't even answer that because it's not even, from what I'm to understand, it's not even an American company. I don't even know who it is. Like, I did it. I signed up and everything, but I don't even know the name of the company. So I can't even answer that. But it's going well. It's up and running. Thanks to Onyx. Big ups for that. Okay. From TM's Way, he says, Phil, what do you feel was your greatest accomplishment in fighting game history while you were still playing Street Fighter competitively, match-wise, or networking-wise? Match-wise, undoubtedly, I mean, I'd be an idiot. I have to say the best I ever did was at Evolution 2005 when during the Super Turbo Finals, I got 4th place overall, and the top 3 placers were all Japanese players, and I certainly had not played anywhere near as much Super Turbo as they ever had, so I was the highest ranking American that year, and that is definitely my biggest tournament accomplishment. However, I would actually say the one that I actually feel the most pride in was EVO 2006 and 2007 when, after all the people, right, oh, Phil's full of shit, Phil's a scrub at Street Fighter, and he was lucky. It was a fluke that he got that high that year. There's no reason for him to ever place that high. He's terrible at Street Fighter, and it was all luck. 2006, won EVO East. 2007, won EVO East. 2007, qualified at every major that I entered that year. I qualified at 3 different majors, including EVO West, where supposedly the best Super Turbo players in the country reside. I got 5th place in that tournament, beating a lot of them in that tournament. So after that, it was kind of like, well, now we can't talk shit because Phil won. Not only did he win at in 2005, he won again in 2006, and then he beat our asses at our own tournament in 2007. But then, of course, after that, there was, just like today with YouTube, right? No matter what I do, I'm going to have detractors. The same back then. It was like, we're still not satisfied. He still sucks. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm never going to, even if I won fucking EVO, got 1st place, people would still talk shit, so I don't care anymore. And that's kind of when I kind of didn't give a shit about Street Fighter anymore. But if you're talking networking-wise, I mean, there's so many people over the years who I met via Street Fighter. From New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Florida, Alabama, Virginia, Georgia, Chicago, California, I mean, Washington, shit, these are just a few. Texas, oh my god, I went to Texas multiple times. I had a blast there. Canada, the Canadian players were always real cool. Like, I met so many people from around North America. Even Japanese. I met Japanese players. I never would have met these people. I never would have hung out with them. We never would have shared stories, culture, nothing if it weren't for Street Fighter. So if anything, even if none of my accomplishments in Street Fighter ever mean anything because it was all a fluke, right? We'll erase it from history. Still people who today say I never was good at Street Fighter, even though there's concrete tournament proof at multiple games, multiple tournaments that I was good, they'll discredit all of that. At least I can say I had fun playing Street Fighter, and I met so many people and just had a blast with Street Fighter and had such a cultural fun experience that it was worth it. There, I'll leave it at that. All right. Next question. Again, another question from Moon Crumpets. And this is a very pertinent question, so everyone who's been watching this live on stream, get ready. Moon Crumpets says, hey, Phil, recently when you were on a live stream, I saw you saying you were doing an experiment with likes and dislikes. What is this about? Okay. So I'm going to explain this now for people who've been watching my live streams recently. I really haven't done it much on, say, the gameplay streams, only if there's like a long, really extended gameplay stream if I tried this. During longer streams, I actually did it twice during this stream live on YouTube. I asked people if they're liking what they're seeing on the stream to give it a thumbs up. And a lot of people are saying, why is Phil doing this? Why is he asking for these likes? He never does. In fact, when you watch his gameplay videos, he doesn't even do that. So why is he doing this? Two reasons. Number one, it's an experiment because I have heard some things around YouTube from people who've been streaming on YouTube for a while. Now, it's not gamers. It's actually non-gamers who've been streaming on YouTube and have a consistently good audience. And the word around town is that while you're live streaming, if people thumb up your live stream during the stream, that if people go to the YouTube page for streams, that your stream gets bumped in priority. So, for example, if people who are maybe just on YouTube, oh, I want to see a stream. Oh, wow, someone's doing a stream about this. I'll check this out. Well, this guy's doing a podcast and he's got 500 people watching. I'll check this podcast out. And it'll bump the stream up. Now, I don't know if this is true because I don't watch live streams. But I've been trying this experiment to see if it works. So, here's the thing, ladies and gents. I don't know if it's worked. Because ultimately it's hard to judge, did extra people check out one stream versus another, okay? And ultimately, here's the thing. When you ask for views, excuse me. When you ask for likes or you ask for thumbs up, there's always going to be a person who says, man, that person's asking. If they have to ask, that means that content sucks. So I'm going to thumb it down. So it's funny because every stream where I've actually asked for a thumbs up to test this, I notice there's a big chunk of thumbs down that normally probably wouldn't even be on that stream. Not that it fucking matters, because just a perfect example here, this stream of Ask the King, I'm never going to make this stream live on YouTube. I actually record these videos separately to upload separately, so I could give a shit if the stream has likes or dislikes. I'm testing to see if this works, okay? So, I'm curious. But here's the thing. The real reason I'm doing it is because, as you know, this new YouTube streaming service, business, or whatever is coming soon. And I get the feeling that what's going to happen is you're going to have an influx of people who on YouTube are going to be streaming gameplay to try out this new service. What I'd like to do is get people accustomed when you're watching a stream and you like it, thumb it up, and let's see if that affects the video. There's a chance, right, if you've got thousands of new viewers who are going to be watching on gameplay on YouTube now that didn't before, or maybe they're just here to check out the YouTube streaming and see how good it is, that if my video is getting likes, it'll go bloop, and you may get some new viewership. So it is a way to market my videos, and it is a way to possibly get some new people to check out the content. Not to say that the people are going to stick around, but maybe we'll get a handful of people who've never seen my stuff before, and they'll be interested in checking it out because they see that it's popular on YouTube. Now, the funny thing about all of this, all right, is that I actually just mentioned that when I seem to say, oh, I like, you know, please, if you like the stream, give it a thumbs up, that a lot of people say, ah, fuck Phil, give him a thumbs down because he asked, right? Apparently, now this is the word around town, I don't know if it's true, even if you thumbs down a video, YouTube counts that as a social interaction and actually also bumps your video in popularity. So you could have a guy who has 4 zillion thumbs down, but his stream will still show up higher because it considers it more social interaction. So all those people who, over the past couple of weeks when I've been saying, oh, like the stream, all those people that thumbed it down actually apparently helped me. But obviously I wasn't going to say that But, you know, now kind of it's out of the bag. I figured eventually I would talk about it. So it's pretty funny. Just any social interaction, according to YouTube, is a good one, which makes no sense to me, in my opinion. But, you know, that's why I've been doing it. I honestly don't know if it's had an effect, but what I'm trying to do is get people who watch my streams daily, who are here daily, to get accustomed to, oh, Phil's doing a gameplay stream, I like the stream, thumb it up. Because maybe that'll help me in search results later, but we don't know, okay? All right. All right, one more question. Wait a minute. No, that's it. We're actually on to Twitter and Facebook, and then we'll wrap up the show. Sorry, I screwed up. We're on to Twitter and Facebook questions, okay? All right. So, from Sean McGregor, he says, Phil, do you ever partake in the PS Plus or Games with Gold free games as they become available on either PlayStation Network or Xbox Live? Here's the thing. When I first heard that, oh, you know, Xbox Live is going to have Games with Gold free games, sounds great to me. And it was kind of the same thing with PlayStation Plus when I became a premium member about a year and a half ago when I got my PlayStation 4. I said, wow, this is an opportunity for me to maybe get free games and play them. However, what I've actually found over the past couple of years is that most of the games that end up going for free are either games that are like, I'm not interested in at all, or it's a game I've already played. Every month people are like, Phil, did you hear that this game's free? I'm like, yeah, but I already played it. And it's very rarely when there's a game on there that like screams, oh, this is a game that I wanted to play, I didn't play, and it's free. For a perfect example right now, I think Just Cause 2 is available at like a discounted price, but a fan actually sent a copy to me, so I'll be playing that instead of buying it on there. I would have got a discount, but it wasn't free if I had bought it on PlayStation Network. So it's kind of like, a mixed bag. It's rare when I find a game on there that I haven't played and I'm interested in playing and I can get it for free. A lot of the games that you see on there are popular games 6 months after the fact when no one's buying the game anymore, and then you get it for free. So kind of in that regard, it hasn't actually affected me too much, okay? From Belchy McBelchenstein, excuse me, no, that's not who this is from. From Josh Tolliver, he says, during the release of Fallout 4, how much sleep do you believe you'll be losing during those first few days? Well, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a midnight release, if not a 9 p.m. release of Fallout 4. If not in person at my local GameStop, they'll probably do it digitally over PlayStation Network or Xbox Live, whichever I choose to buy the game on, which, by the way, I haven't chosen yet which version I'm going to get, and I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking about it. I'm probably going to do a midnight stream. I'm probably going to be streaming it as a marathon for a couple days, meaning I may actually do extended stream hours by an hour or two, depending on how much fun I'm actually having with the game. But what you must understand is that that week is also Rise of the Tomb Raider. So what I may do is have my first stream be Fallout 4 of like 4 hours, and then my second stream of 2 hours ends up being Rise of the Tomb Raider, so at least those who aren't interested in Fallout can watch some, and also so that I'm not 14 hours into the game after 2 days and people don't have enough time to watch the content. So, I'm pretty excited for Fallout 4. Yes, I will be doing an abundant amount of coverage of it. However, I may not be doing non-stop Fallout 4. I may alternate between Tomb Raider. We'll have to see. Okay? We'll see what people want once we get closer. Next question is from Cappuccino Mush, and he says, do you ever feel like an old man these days? When you first started YouTube, you were still in your 20s. Has aging affected you in any way? I hate to say it, I think I'm in better shape now than I was when I started. If you remember when I started YouTube when I was, what, 20, let's see, it was almost 7 years ago. So you're talking I was like 26, 27 when I really got into it. I was out of shape, man. I was about 40 or more pounds overweight. My back was killing me all the time. I was drinking a heck of a lot more than I do now, like heavily a lot. I'll be honest, when I started, I was drinking a lot. And I was just not physically in shape. I really had wrecked my body. I was eating fast food all the time, eating way too much bad food. I feel better. These days, I have more energy. I'm happier, that's for sure. I moved to a nice house in Washington State. I have a better life. There's many more things out here to do and much more excitement. I like it out here better overall. So quite honestly, it's kind of the flip side. A lot of people would say, well, when you were younger, you felt better. And now that you're older, I feel better. I feel like I'm putting out better content on a daily basis. Look at this live streaming, fun content, great video quality, much better than the shit that I used to do. And it's still fun. And I'm still able to make a living doing it. So I certainly can't complain. And I'm having a lot of fun. So thanks to everyone who supported me over the years. And, you know, here's to more healthy, fun content coming in the future. And me being physically healthier than I have been when I started this whole thing. All right. Next question is from God Revan. And he says, if your playthrough of Godfather goes well, will you start up other games such as Godfather II? Now, this is an interesting question because a lot of people might not know this, but back in the day, way before I made any money on YouTube, I think this one was 2009, Godfather II was released, and I was playing it on the Xbox 360, and I had to stop playing the game, basically because of not copyright issues, excuse me, because of YouTube indecency issues. I got flagged on multiple videos for virtual nudity of fake naked boobs of the strippers in the Godfather 2 game. As fucking stupid as that sounds, really, seriously, it's true. I almost had my YouTube channel, my original YouTube channel, Darkside Phil, shut down completely because of virtual boobs. The good news is YouTube has changed. Since then, they've got a lot more lenient. They realize gaming is gaming. It's not real tits. And so, yeah, you know, the videos, as long as they get flagged as, like, mature content or whatever, can still be on YouTube. I've done playthroughs like South Park and The Witcher 3 and never had an issue with that. And that's just recently, the past couple of years. So, unfortunately, that original Godfather 2 playthrough doesn't really exist anymore. I had to remove it. And, you know, I've never got back to it. Now, right now, I'm doing a playthrough once a week. Leanna, my girlfriend, is doing co-op commentary with me of The Godfather on the Xbox 360. Every Saturday, we're going to be doing this for the next summer-wise. So, it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy doing it. And I'm looking forward to it. That being said, let's see what happens. Right now, we've done it for about 2 sessions, and it's doing pretty solid. Let's see if it could remain pretty solid throughout all of August. And, yeah, we would consider possibly doing The Godfather 2 as a future playthrough, as long as this one does pretty decently. So if you're liking The Godfather, thanks for watching, keep watching, and maybe I'll do other, like, Godfather and Mafia games in the future, okay? Next question is from the Arid Lord, of all people. He says, would you one day venture back to the East Coast and relive some of the things that you used to enjoy, like arcades and food? And, of course, the answer to that is absolutely. One day I would love to return to the East Coast, to Connecticut, check out the things I used to like Bearsley Zoo, and the local haunts, like, you know, different restaurants and stuff, that Vinny's Pizza in Bridgeport that I absolutely freaking love, some seafood places that I loved out there, and the local shopping and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but yeah, it's certainly something on the docket. Maybe after several years of living out here, we consider returning to the East Coast and doing some of that old school stuff. The next question is from Evil French Guy, and he says, Phil, with all of the crap that's gone on, do you regret your Metal Gear playthroughs? It seems like that was when the hate for you really began, from those fans who didn't like how you played the games and basically turned it into the whole this is how you don't play movement. No, I don't regret them, because the bottom line is, because I played those games, I got a background, right? I know now what the Metal Gear Solid series is, which I never did. Keep in mind, I never played those games before. I had zero background whatsoever in the Metal Gear Solid series. I didn't know what these classics were that everyone was referencing. And even though I sucked at them, I still am happy that I played them to have that frame of reference. Because now I can understand the jokes. Now I can get the references. Now when I play Metal Gear Solid 5, I can see where the series came from. Because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before a million times, and I'll say it again, gaming is not about doing it well. It's about having fun while you do it. And I had fun playing the Metal Gear Solid games, and that's why I'm going to continue to play games like Metal Gear Solid 5 that I may not necessarily be the best player at, because I game for fun. Yes, it's my business. Yes, I make money doing it, but as long as I'm having fun, I will also continue to do it. So I don't give a fuck how many thousand people watched a dumb montage of me sucking in Metal Gear. I enjoyed it. That's all I give a fuck about, period. And now the final question from the Skull Rider. He says, Phil, have you heard all this news about the possibility of a coming mini Ice Age, like the Maunder Minimum? If an event like that happened, what would you do? So, I don't know how many of you have been paying attention to science recently, But yeah, some scientists have been coming out and studying weather patterns in history, and come to find out, it looks like in about 15 years or so, we may hit a point where the sun may not have as many sunspots as it usually has. I believe that they actually say traditionally, the sun has about 40,000 sunspots in a year. Now, those sunspots cause heat. The heat causes our climate, right? Apparently, we're coming up... Ow, I smashed my leg, goddammit. Apparently, we're coming up at a point now where it looks like, at least to scientists, that in about 15 years, we may have a year where the sun only has 50 sunspots. Does this mean that the planet is going to turn into a ball of ice? No. What it means is that we may have some abnormally cold years, like a period of, say, maybe 10 years, where the temperatures are going to be way cold compared to like now. So right now, where you live, maybe you have a certain climate during the winter. Imagine it being way colder during the winter, and the summers will be mild. That's basically what they're saying. What would I do if that happened? Listen. It is what it is. At least we moved off to the East Coast, because the East Coast already right now is getting completely dominated and slammed in the winters by tons of ice and snow. Now imagine if it quadrupled and you couldn't get out of your fucking house, and now you don't have energy, you don't have food or drink, and you're fucked, right? At least I won't be in that situation. We moved to a more moderate climate out here in Washington, so at least in that regard, even if the winters are bad, it'll just be like it used to be back home. And if the summers are cooler, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? But who knows? We'll have to see what happens. It's possible. It's funny because they said the last one was between like the 1650s to like the early 1700s, but it's hard because people weren't documenting things historically as well back then, so they didn't know what temperature it actually fucking was. They didn't have thermometers back then, so how could you say how cold the earth was back then when no one was measuring that back then, right? So we actually don't know. So I guess we're going to have to see. And, you know, that's life. Sometimes shit happens. And if the climate changes, the climate changes. And we'll have to see what happens. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for Ask the King, episode 54. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Whether you watched on YouTube live on stream, or whether you watched on YouTube on demand, okay? A few quick things before we adjourn. The next episode will be August 27th, 2015. So there's already a thread for you to post up your questions on thekingofhate.com right now. So please post up your questions as soon as possible. And as you that's not there. As you can see right here, if you pledge to my July Patreon within 1 day, because there's only 1 day left to do it, for a $20 pledge, you could get your question answered, just like the patrons did this month on Ask the King for sure. So consider pledging to my Patreon for an increased chance, well, or guaranteed chance, if you do the $20 pledge. And that is it, ladies and gents. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next month for Ask the King. Thanks for watching. Peace out. See you later. Stay cool. Freeze well.